Hi everyone, and welcome back to another tutorial. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to configure ipset. ipset is a very powerful utility that is used in Linux operating system for managing sets of IP addresses, port, MAC address, or other IP related object. Right? It can be used in conjunction with things like IP tables. Right? If you're running a lab like me in the cloud, and you're using IP tables as the first line of defense, right? The ipset utility allows you to create efficient and flexible rules. Right? You can use it for IDS, IPS, rate limiting set, or even access control to services. Okay, with that, let's hop over to my SSH shell, the cloud. So I'm logged into my server in the cloud. Right, the first thing you want to do is to install ipset because by default ipset is not installed. So I will assume that you have already have IP tables in your machine, so we're not going to go through that. The other thing that you want to take note is that if you have not enabled IP tables persistence, remember to enable those. For ipset, right, the command to install ipset is pretty straightforward. You need to just app install ipset, and then to make it persistent, you want to install the utility of ipset persistent. Okay, I've already installed, so we're good. If you've not installed ipset, you can use the above to install ipset. Okay, now what we're going to do is to go through some of the basic commands. So you can use the ipset create command to create a new list, right? So I'm going to create a new demo list. And then there are a couple of syntax to take note. So by default, we usually use the hash syntax together with IP. So this allows us to create a list based on IP address. Okay, the next command that is commonly used is the list command. If you use list without any list name, right, it will list out all the ipset lists you have, right? So for us, we want to see exactly what is in ipset demo list. So you can see the information there. The key things is that once you start entering IP address, you should see the IP address appearing under members. Okay, now let's proceed to add the members IP address. So the command is ipset add the list that we're going to add to, followed by the IP address. So we're going to add, Google's DNS, right? So demo, you won't add this DNS to allow access to your server from SSH, right? But for demo purposes, we just do this, right? So once that's done, let's go back and revisit the list, and you can see that the members are being added, right? You can add actually multiple IP address. The other one that you can use is the net syntax, whereby you can add the whole subnet, right? But we're going to just add in a few test IP address. Oops, wrong syntax. 1.1.1.1. Okay, so if we look at the list again, we can see, oops, demo list. You can see that there's no two IP address now. Okay, so next let's take a look at the IP tables, right? I've already created a basic rule there, so you will see IP tables minus list. Let's look at the input table. Oops. Okay, so you can see that by default, I have already created the basic rules, right? And the match set allow IP source. I actually have another list that I have set up, okay, for my access. Okay, so and let's look at the rules. that is being saved, so you can know the syntax. Okay, so this is, oops. So you can see that I just have the basic set of rules, and that's how the syntax looks like. Okay, let's, I already have that rule added. Okay, let's just do a net filter persistent save. All right, so this is the way to save the config permanently into the file. So when you issue this, you will see IP table save, ipset save, right? So now if I look at the rules again, you can see that, this should be how it looks like. Now to add the new rules, you just need to allow the IP address that is in the set that we've just set, just do sudo IP tables. Let's add it to the end of the table. So we're going to use the match statement, match the set, right, which is IP set, and then match set demo list source minus j accept, right? So we're accepting connection from the source IP from the demo list itself, right? Oops. I did not specify the chain, right, which is the input chain. Okay, now that is done, let's re-look at our IP tables. Okay, you can see that we have added in the demo list, right? So that's how you can use the ipset utility to add IP addresses without having to, you know, configure the IP address manually in IP tables. Now, if you have a lot of IP address that you're going to allow, for example, in my lab, I'm going to allow different IP and different range, right? This makes it a lot neater and tidier, right? It's a lot tidier for you to look and review your rules as it goes forward. So it's actually a very useful utility. Now, the reason why I'm using ipset is because in some of my clients, I'm using dynamic DNS to allow client to connect to my SSH server or the Ubuntu Linux server in the cloud. Therefore, the ipset is useful when I'm starting to create script, cron job, or even system D timer, right? So there are a lot of usage that you can leverage on the ipset utility. But for this first tutorial, I'm just showing you how to configure the basic ipset rules, right? So now, once you're done with the configuration, uh, the other configuration that I would like to, or syntax that I will show you is, in case that you no longer need the IP sets that you have created or the list that you created, you can actually delete by issuing the destroy command followed by the list that you have. Okay. Now, if you have the rule in your IP table, it will prompt you that you will not be able to destroy the list until you remove the syntax. Right. So let's do that. Let's do a minus delete. Let's delete the rule. Okay. And then let's destroy the demo list. Right. So you can see once you remove the rules where it's applied, you can then destroy the list. And then if we go back to the ipset list, demo list, you'll tell you that the set or the list is no longer exists. Okay, so to make it persistent, like I said, do a net filter. All right, save, and the rules will be permanently saved in your system, and whenever you reset or restart the machine, right, the rules will be in place. Okay, so that's how Quick and easy, you can set up ipset and use it in your firewall rules. Hope the tutorial has been useful, and stay tuned for the next tutorial where I will show you how to create a script to update dynamic DNS to the ipset, right? So that you don't have to manually change IP address of dynamic DNS to allow the client access to the system itself. Thank you. Stay safe.